I just wanted to talk a little bit about language today. I've had a couple of instances recently where I've been concerned. So this is going to be just kind of a little rant about it, quite honestly. We support folks with disabilities, and one of the things that is challenging is to help people to understand that we don't need to label people. And I think folks forget why it's so important. So for many, many years, folks with disabilities, especially intellectual disabilities, but I think all folks, have been tagged with many labels. We worry about whether we call it a handicapped parking space or whether it's a disabled parking space. And I don't think the parking space has a disability. I think we've talked about person first language. We've talked about how to respect people. We've struggled with what is the correct term to call people. And I don't understand why we have such difficulty calling people people. And we want to call them clients, and we want to call them residents, and we want to call them participants or individuals. But we are setting up new barriers when we do that. So when I talk about breaking down barriers, helping people to be out in their community, to find happiness as contributing members of their community, to have a life just like yours and mine, it always seems to be with a label qualifier. And how do we get rid of that? How do we make that go away? Because those labels mean lack of choice, they mean barriers, they mean control. The words that can be very innocently said can give a different intonation if you're a person who has a disability. So if you've been in the field as long as I have been, of helping people with disabilities, I was around when at the bottom of a person's clinical record, they would have a label of idiot, moron, trainable, not trainable, not a person at all. When I see the people that we support, I see a person. I don't see their disability first. I don't have to separate them from who we are. And so often our language is a way that does set up that barrier. So as we're working so hard to break down those wall barriers, let's get people out of group homes, out of institutions, in their own apartment, that battle just keeps going. And I'm not sure how we change the dictionary of the world, but I'm going to keep trying, and I'm going to keep fighting to do that, because there are big nuances. If I go to my health club, I'm a member in that health club. I go there to meet my friends. I go there to see other people. That's very different than I'm a client who goes there. Very different than I meet other clients there. Because what happens is, there's my barrier. When I'm talking to somebody at that health club and I'm hoping to integrate this person, to help them make friends, to help them build relationships, I've said to them from the very beginning, this person's different. And I don't know why we have to make that person different. Why can't I just be a member of that health club? Why can't I just be a member of that knitting group? Why can't I be just like everybody else when it comes to first impressions, introductions, all of those things? Other language things imply control, and they're little things. When I take somebody to the mall, I'm controlling that. When I go to the mall with someone, it's a different thing. We're going to go for a walk. I'm going to take you for a walk. Very, very different, minor little tweaks that say, when I take you somewhere, I'm in control of this. Versus when I ask you what you want to do and you want to go to the mall, and I help you get to the mall. I take you in my car to the mall, and we go together, we go to our walking group together, etc. It does give a different twist to what's happening. And it's important because this population, folks who happen to have a disability, although that diagnosis, whatever it is not what is dictating their life. Them as a person, their personality, etc., is what dictates their life. How do we get past that? How do we work in this world to correct other people in a thoughtful, respectful way to say, I think you meant that. Wouldn't it be nice if you had said it this way? those different things that can happen. I think this labeling starts at a very, very young age with people, and it starts with children, little children. And what started this tirade today was, I have a 3-year-old grandson who is one of the loves of my life, as all my grandchildren are. And he happens to learn differently than other children. So he's part of an integrated preschool program that we are very, very fortunate to have in our public school system. And it is an amazing support to him to help him get on track with some of the other kids who are more ready to go to school. And if I want to look at the progress that he is making in that school with these people who treat him wonderfully and are so kind and wonderful to this little boy, I go to esped.com. So my grandchild becomes a SPED. And that label starts with children in, now 3 years old, in elementary school. So as much as I may want to tout that these children are integrated in the classroom and part of every activity, or whatever it is that you want to tout, it's still SPED. That label's still there. People are still clients. People are still participants. They're not just regular old people out in the world having a life. So how do we get there? We get there, I believe, by every one of us recognizing it, and every one of us working together to say, I would like to meet a person. I would like to be part of a person's life. I don't need to label them. I don't need for them to become a token of the system that has to put a label on them. So the next time you are with a person with a disability, helping them to be part of their community, helping them in their life, the next time you're out in the community and you happen to see a person who may use a wheelchair for ambulation and things like that, try really hard to tweak your brain that this is a person. See that person first. Recognize they want to be respected and treated as a person, not as a wheelchair that happens to have a person in it, or a person whose legs don't work as well as they do. Because when you treat me like you would treat anyone else in your life, then that builds my self-esteem. That helps me to become the person I want to be. Go forward, have a great day, and remember, we can help happiness happen everywhere.